Motors, powering your passion for electric vehicles.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we sift through the latest insights and research to bring you what you really need to know.
That's right.
Today, we're plunging into a topic that's, well, it's been on the horizon, but now it feels like it's accelerating like crazy. We're talking about the future of electric vehicles and specifically how they're getting so much more affordable. We've looked at a whole stack of recent stuff, articles, studies, and honestly, it paints a pretty compelling picture.
It really does.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. The core idea today is, well, it seems pretty clear. EV costs aren't just dipping slightly.
No, not at all.
They're dropping dramatically, almost like a revolution in cost. And this is pushing us right to the edge of price parity with regular gasoline cars.
That key threshold.
Exactly. So for you listening, our mission isn't just to say if it's happening, spoiler, it is, but to really explore how, what's driving it, and, what does it actually mean for you, for future decisions. It feels like more than just a trend.
Oh, absolutely. It's a transformation.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this so fascinating right now. We're not just, watching another small step in the car industry. This is like a fundamental economic shift, technological too. And the implications are huge, way beyond just car dealerships. Think energy grids, cities.
Climate strategies even.
Exactly. So our goal today is to cut through the noise, get past the headlines, and really dig into the core insights from our sources. Why are EVs getting cheaper? And what does that really mean for mass adoption?
It feels like a pivotal moment.
It really is.
Yeah.
Understanding these forces is, well, it's absolutely key if you want to grasp what's coming next.
Okay, let's start with basics, make sure we're all on the same page. This term, price parity, it's central to today's chat. For anyone maybe less familiar, it's basically that point, that moment when the upfront cost, the sticker price of a EV.
The price you see right there in the showroom.
Yeah. It becomes comparable to, or maybe even lower than, a similar gas car, an ICE vehicle, internal combustion engine.
So you walk in, you see two similar cars, maybe a couple of mid-size SUVs, EV and gas.
Right, or compact sedans.
And for the first time, the price tags look pretty much the same. That initial shock, that barrier, it just crumbles.
And it's really important, isn't it, to separate this from the total cost of ownership, TCO.
Oh, definitely. Crucial distinction.
Because many of you listening, you probably already know that EVs often do have a lower TCO, have had for a while now.
Sure. Cheaper fuel, less maintenance.
Right. Electricity per mile is usually way less than gas, and fewer moving parts means, less to fix, simpler drivetrain. But let's be real. For most people, that upfront sticker price, that's the big one. It's the psychological hurdle.
It's the number that gets the car onto the maybe list or keeps it off.
Exactly. And what's interesting is even though people kind of know about the long-term savings, a lot of buyers still see EVs as just way too expensive upfront.
That mental block is powerful.
It really is. And that's the block we're talking about removing.
You've really hit the nail on the head there. If we connect this to the bigger picture, that upfront cost, it is the main barrier for most people thinking about buying.
Yeah.
Study after study shows it. People focus on that initial price tag, often much more than a complicated calculation about savings down the road.
It's just human nature, I guess, for big purchases.
It is. So getting to real price parity isn't just like an economic milestone. It's almost a social one.
How so?
Well, it democratizes EV ownership.
Yeah.
It opens it up to way more people than maybe even tax credits or rebates have managed to do alone.
Ah, okay. Makes sense.
And that shift, well, it's set to speed up the move away from fossil fuels because suddenly the green choice is also the, financially smart choice right from day one. No spreadsheet needed to convince yourself.
It becomes the obvious choice.
Exactly. Right now, we're kind of in this place where, the TCO often looks good for EVs, but for many models, that initial price is still higher than the gas equivalent, maybe 10%, 20% more in some markets if you ignore subsidies.
Which creates that gap, that hesitation.
Precisely. Even with incentives, it can be tough to bridge for the mass market. So reaching that point where the sticker price itself is the same or lower, That changes absolutely everything.
It flips the whole value proposition.
Completely. EVs move from being maybe a niche thing for early adopters or eco-conscious buyers
To just another option on the table, a mainstream one.
Right. It's not about complex math anymore. It's about the price just looking right. Effortless decision.
So, okay, if that sticker price is the ultimate barrier, what's knocking it down? What's the engine of change here?
Well, the sources are incredibly clear on this one. It overwhelmingly comes down to battery costs.
The big one.
That's the undisputed heavyweight champion of EV cost reduction. The numbers are just staggering.
Yeah, I saw that. Over the last decade, the average cost of lithium-ion battery packs, it's dropped by about 90%.
90%. Let that sink in.
It's hard to even get your head around. 90%. Like, imagine if your phone or your TV or laptop dropped by 90% in 10 years.
They'd be practically giving them away.
Exactly. Or they'd have capabilities we can't even imagine for pennies. This isn't just a tweak. It's a massive, almost unbelievable cost reduction.
And the battery is consistently the single most expensive part of an EV.
Right. It can be, what, 25, 30, 40% of the total cost? Sometimes more.
Easily. So when that cost plummets, it directly impacts the final price you see. Massively.
It's the linchpin, no question. And the fact that it's still dropping is the key to getting to parity and maybe even beyond.
And it's not luck, right?
Yeah.
This massive drop is the result of some really powerful forces all coming together. When you dig into why battery costs are falling, there are a few key drivers.
Okay.
First, just relentless technological advancements. Battery chemistry design. It's a super dynamic field. Constant R&D.
Right.
We're seeing nonstop improvements in the materials, like the big shift towards LFP batteries, lithium iron phosphate.
Oh, yeah, LFP. Heard a lot about that.
It's a real game changer, according to our sources. It's not just slightly better, it's strategically different. Good lifespan, good safety.
But the key is the cost.
Exactly. It uses iron, which is abundant and cheaper, instead of the more expensive nickel and cobalt you find in, say, NMC batteries.
So manufacturers can offer cheaper models using LFP.
Precisely. Entry-level cars, standard range models. LFP brings the cost per kilowatt hour down significantly. Now, there are nuances, of course.
Oh, yeah.
LFP generally has a bit lower energy density, so less range for the same weight, and maybe not quite as good in extreme cold.
Okay.
Which is why makers use it strategically. For city cars, or standard range versions, where those trade-offs aren't such a big deal, it's smart cost management.
Got it. And what else on the tech front?
Well, at the same time, we're getting better energy density in other battery types too, packing more power into smaller, lighter packs.
Which means less material needed for the same range.
Exactly. And that saves cost. Plus things like cell-to-pack designs, integrating cells directly into the pack, skipping intermediate modules. That streamlines things, cuts weight, cuts cost.
Okay, so tech is one big piece. What's next?
Second, huge progress in manufacturing efficiency and economies of scale. This is massive.
Gigafactories and all that.
Yeah. Think about it. When EVs first started, battery making was almost like a craft project. Small scale, lots of manual work.
Right.
Now, we have these enormous, highly automated gigafactories just churning out batteries like never before. The processes are streamlined, robotic.
There's fewer errors, faster production.
Way faster, lower labor cost per cell. And then you get the classic economies of scale.
The more you make, the cheaper each one gets.
Exactly. All those huge upfront costs, R&D, building the factory gets spread over millions of batteries.
Yeah.
It's this thing called a learning curve effect, or Wright's law sometimes.
Okay.
Basically, the data shows that for every doubling of total battery production worldwide, the cost tends to drop by about 18 to 20%.
Wow. So it's almost predictable.
In a way, yeah. It's driven by constant process improvements, better machines, smarter sourcing of materials as you buy it in bulk.
Yeah.
The powerful economic force just pushing costs down relentlessly.
Okay. Tech advancements, manufacturing scale. What's the third leg of the stool?
Thirdly, there's supply chain optimization and localization, getting better at the whole process, from digging up the raw materials, lithium, cobalt, nickel, manganese,
All that stuff.
to refining them and then putting them into cells and packs. It's becoming more efficient, more spread out geographically too.
Less risky, less dependent on one place.
Right. Companies are partnering directly with mines, investing in cleaner refining tech, building supply chains that are cheaper and more robust, and trying to make batteries closer to where the cars are built.
Reduces shipping costs, geopolitical issues.
Exactly. Things like new ways to extract lithium directly that could cut costs and environmental impact even more. Every little improvement across that huge global network adds up.
That's a really clear picture of the battery revolution. LFP, the learning curve.
Yeah.
Super important stuff. But you mentioned earlier, this isn't over.
Not even close.
Our sources are projecting battery costs could drop another 50% by 2030, average cost per kilowatt.
That's the projection, another 50%.
On top of the 90% we already saw. That's genuinely hard to fathom. It really hammers home that this isn't just history, it's ongoing, maybe even speeding up.
It really seems to be.
What does another 50% drop even mean for the market? Does that just make EVs fundamentally cheaper to build than gas cars? Could it totally rewrite the rules of the auto industry?
It absolutely could.
Yeah.
And you know what? It already is starting to. A further 50% drop pretty much guarantees that EVs won't just hit parity.
They'll blow past it.
In many cases, yeah. They'll become significantly cheaper to make than equivalent gasoline cars.
Yeah.
That changes the entire game permanently.
It becomes a self-feeding cycle, right?
Yeah.
Cheaper EVs sell more, which drives more scale, which makes them even cheaper.
Exactly. And the cost advantage isn't just about fuel and maintenance anymore. It's baked right into the car itself, the bill of materials.
Okay, that projection is, wow, another 50% by 2030. But while the battery is clearly the heart of it all, you mentioned manufacturers aren't just focused there.
That's right. They're rethinking how you actually build the car, the physical process. And some of those innovations are just as radical as what's happening in battery chemistry.
It's like a whole system approach.
Totally holistic.
Yeah.
So, beyond the battery, what are these other manufacturing breakthroughs cutting costs?
Let's talk about those.
Okay, well, while batteries grab headlines, the way cars are assembled is undergoing its own revolution, especially in the EV space. And a prime example is gigacasting.
Right, Tesla pioneered this, didn't they? But others are looking at it now, too.
Exactly. Tesla led the way, but folks like Toyota, Hyundai, others are actively exploring it. And it really is revolutionary. Think about a traditional car underbody.
Lots of bits of metal welded together.
Hundreds sometimes. Stamped pieces, welded, bolted. Especially complex areas like the front or rear sections holding suspension, crash structures.
Yeah, it seems complex.
It is complicated, labor-intensive, time-consuming, needs lots of robots, stamping machines, quality checks. With gigacasting, you take a huge section, like the entire rear floor structure, suspension points, crumple zones, and you cast it as one single massive piece of aluminum.
One piece replaces hundreds.
Potentially, yeah. Imagine these giant casting machines, like thousands of tons of pressure, creating this incredibly complex part in one go.
Okay, the benefits must be huge then.
Oh, they're profound. Multiple layers. First, manufacturing time and complexity just plummet.
Fewer steps.
Way fewer. One casting process instead of hundreds of stamping, welding, assembly steps. That means fewer robots needed. Tesla said they cut body shop robots from like 700 down to 300 for one model. Less labor, faster production cycle.
Makes sense. What else?
Second, fewer parts simplifies the supply chain massively. Less to order, track, store. Lower costs, less complexity. Third, these big cast parts are incredibly strong and rigid. That's good for structural integrity, crash safety, handling. Makes the car feel more solid, quieter ride, and often they're lighter than the multi-piece version.
Lighter means more efficient, better range.
Exactly. So gigacasting hits cost, speed, complexity, and vehicle performance. It's fundamentally changing how cars are put together, a huge driver of cost reduction.
That's pretty amazing. What other manufacturing tricks are they using?
Another big one is vertical integration.
Meaning companies doing more stuff themselves, in-house?
Precisely. Instead of just buying everything from outside suppliers, many EV leaders are bringing key processes under their own roof.
Like making their own battery cells, not just assembling packs.
Yes, that's a huge one. Think GM with their Ultium platform and the joint venture with LG for Ultium cells, or Tesla making their own 4680 cells. But it goes beyond batteries. Developing their own software, designing and making electric motors, power electronics, even chips sometimes.
Why do that? Seems like a lot of work, big investment.
It is a big investment, but the advantages are compelling. First, way more control over quality. Make sure everything meets your exact specs.
Okay.
Second, less reliance on external suppliers. That reduces supply chain risks. Remember all the disruptions recently. Cuts lead times, protects against price hikes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And crucially, it lets you optimize costs. You cut out the supplier's profit margin, you leverage your internal expertise, you find efficiencies you couldn't otherwise. Integrating design, engineering, manufacturing tightly just leads to a cheaper, better product faster.
So despite the upfront cost, the long-term payoff is worth it for these companies.
The leading ones seem to think so, yeah.
Yeah.
The strategic benefits appear to outweigh the risks, according to our sources.
Interesting. Anything else on the manufacturing front?
One more thing, maybe less dramatic, but still really important. The platform approach.
The skateboard thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Many modern EVs are built on these dedicated platforms. Basically a flat chassis holding the battery, motors, electronics, all the core stuff underneath.
Leaving the top free for different bodies.
Right. And that's the genius. It's modular. You design one really good optimized base, and then you can put lots of different top hats on it. A small city car, an SUV, a sedan, maybe even a delivery van.
Using the same underlying structure.
Yeah. So you drastically cut R&D costs. No need to re-engineer the basics for every single model.
Ah, okay.
Plus, it standardizes parts across models, simplifies factory tooling, speeds up getting new vehicles to market. You spread those huge development costs for the EV architecture over way more vehicles.
So the cost per car comes down.
Significantly. It's a powerful, if maybe less flashy way they're driving down costs per unit.
Okay, it's really clear then. You got this combination. Batteries getting radically cheaper, plus these really smart, sometimes revolutionary changes in how the cars are actually made.
The powerful 1-2 punch.
Which leads us right back to the big question for everyone listening. Okay, sounds great, but when do I actually get to see these cheaper EVs? When do they hit the showrooms?
The million-dollar question.
Or maybe the $30,000 question soon.
Hopefully. Well, the timelines from the analysts are starting to line up pretty consistently now. We're getting a clearer picture.
And what's the verdict? Soon?
The consensus is definitely soon. Based on forecasts from places like Bloomberg, NEF, Deloitte, we could see price parity in some segments as early as 2026.
2026? That's really just around the corner.
It is. Now, that doesn't mean all EVs will suddenly be cheaper than all gas cars overnight.
It'll be staggered.
Yeah, expect it segment by segment. Maybe smaller sedans first, or compact crossovers. Certain markets might hit it sooner too, places with good incentives already, or high gas prices.
Those will be the first places where the sticker price is basically the same.
Exactly, the first beachheads.
Okay, some segments by 2026. What about the broader market, like mainstream family cars?
The wider prediction for mass market price parity is generally between 2028 and 2030.
Okay, 2028 to 2030. That's the window we're looking at for most typical car types.
That seems to be the critical time frame, yeah. When you'd expect the majority of mainstream EVs, family SUVs, commuter cars to cost about the same upfront as their gasoline equivalents.
And that's when adoption really takes off. Beyond the early crowd?
That's the expectation. Once you hit that mass market parity, you capture the general public.
Yeah.
People prioritizing affordability, practicality. Then EV sales growth could really explode. It becomes the default choice for many more people.
And you mentioned this isn't just about passenger cars, right? Commercial vehicles, too.
Oh, absolutely. And in some ways, the economic case there is even stronger, even sooner.
Because of fuel and maintenance savings being so huge for businesses.
Exactly. Think about delivery vans, predictable routes, back-to-base charging overnight. Companies like Amazon, FedEx, electric vans make huge economic sense for them already, even before full price parity, because the TCO is so much lower.
Right. And buses, too. Seeing a lot more electric buses.
Definitely. Public transport is a big area and is moving into trucks as well, medium, heavy duty.
Really? Big rigs.
Yeah. Companies like Daimler, Volvo, Tesla, they're rolling out electric trucks. The upfront cost is still higher now, but falling battery prices and manufacturing improvements are closing that gap fast.
And the running costs must be way lower than diesel.
Hugely lower. Electricity per mile is often 70–80% cheaper than diesel. Maintenance, maybe 30–50% less.
Yeah.
So once the purchase price gets close to parity, or even below.
It's a no-brainer for logistics companies.
Pretty much. Massive impact on their bottom line, plus benefits like less air pollution, less noise in cities. It's transformative for fleets.
So what you're saying is this price parity point, it's more than just a number. It's like a tipping point.
That's exactly how I'd frame it, a critical tipping point. For years, we talked about EVs needing incentives or focusing on the green angle or the cool tech, the performance.
Right. Reasons other than just pure cost.
But once they are simply cheaper to buy, the whole market dynamic shifts.
Fundamentally.
The main barrier is just gone. It evaporates. It's no longer about if most new cars will be electric. It's just when and how fast. It moves EVs from being the alternative or eco-choice
to just being the smart, economical, often better choice. Simple as that.
Making the decision almost effortless for the average buyer.
That shift from alternative to smart default is powerful. And that leads to something else our sources hinted at, which is kind of the next level beyond parity. It's not just about EVs matching gas car prices. The long game, apparently, is that EVs might actually become cheaper to buy outright.
Exactly. That's the really fascinating long-term vision some analyses are putting forward.
Pulling ahead on sticker price.
Yeah. The idea is that all these trends we've talked about, falling battery costs, gigacasting, economies of scale, they keep compounding. They don't just stop at parity. They push EVs to become the inherently more affordable option at the dealership.
So walk in, look at two comparable cars, and the EV is just cheaper. Full stop.
That's the scenario. Which, think about it, completely reverses the historical dynamic. It creates this powerful, undeniable financial incentive to choose electric right from the start, even before you think about saving money on gas or maintenance later.
Wow. The implications of that are huge, socially, economically.
Colossal. Just ripples everywhere. First, accessibility. EVs become truly mainstream, not just for higher earners or tech fans, affordable for almost everyone.
Opens up the market massively.
Massively. Second, decarbonization goes into overdrive. If EVs are the cheapest option, they'll dominate new sales even faster. Huge impact on emissions, climate goals.
Gets us there much quicker.
Much quicker. And third, massive disruption for the auto industry itself.
Companies that don't adapt get left behind.
They'll struggle to compete if they're still trying to sell more expensive gas cars against cheaper, often better, EVs.
Yeah.
Companies that lead on battery tech and manufacturing efficiency, they gain a huge advantage, could redraw the whole map of who the big players are.
So, connecting this to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Once that initial cost barrier isn't just gone, but actually flipped.
The incentive to buy EV becomes overwhelming. The TCO benefits are just icing on the cake at that point.
And that cascades everywhere else, right? Used cars, infrastructure, the grid.
Absolutely. Used car markets will have to adjust. What happens to the value of used gas cars when new EVs are cheaper? Big question.
Yeah.
Infrastructure needs to explode. Charging has to become even more widespread, even faster. And the grid, managing that much more electricity demand, especially peak charging times, that requires significant upgrades and smarter management.
It touches everything.
Pretty much every aspect of modern life. It points to a future where electric isn't just an option, it's the inevitable default.
What an incredible journey we've covered today, diving deep into this EV future. It really feels like the whole idea of EVs being expensive is, well, it's rapidly becoming history, doesn't it?
It really does. Like something we'll look back on soon and think, wow, remember when EVs cost more?
Exactly. We've seen how the massive drop in battery costs that 90%, with maybe another 50 coming, plus these really clever manufacturing changes like gigacasting. It's all transforming things right now.
Right before our eyes.
And we explored how price parity, that point where sticker prices match, isn't some far-off dream, it's close. 2026 for some cars, maybe 2028, 2030 for the mass market.
The near-term reality.
And maybe even going beyond parity to where EVs are just flat-out cheaper to buy.
So what does this all mean for you listening? Well, it means your next car purchase might look totally different than you thought. And this whole energy transition, it seems to be speeding up with some serious economic force behind it.
It really does. And it leaves us with the big question to chew on, doesn't it?
Which is?
How quickly can our infrastructure, our energy systems, really adapt to this incredibly fast shift? Once cost isn't the main hurdle, what's next?
Charging availability, grid capacity, raw materials for all those batteries. Could be any of those. Or something else.
Yeah.
It just shows how much innovation is still happening and how exciting the possibilities are as we really move into this electric era.
Absolutely fascinating stuff. Really insightful. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into EV affordability.
My pleasure.
And if you listening found these insights helpful, maybe thought-provoking, do make sure to give us a like and subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss any of our future deep dives.
Definitely worth doing.
We'll see you next time.